You know, you're thinking right now. We all do it, all day long. It's automatic. But there's a huge difference between just thinking and thinking critically. In this explainer, we're going to lay out the blueprint for bridging that gap so you can start making smarter, better informed decisions.
So, let's start with a big idea. Picture this. You're put in charge of building a massive skyscraper. You've got budgets, crews, materials, a million things to think about. But what's the one thing you absolutely have to do before any of that?
Of course, you draw a blueprint. You have to plan, analyze, and map out every single detail before anyone even digs a hole, right? Well, our thoughts work the exact same way. To build a strong conclusion, you first need a mental blueprint. To see how this works, let's dive into a real-world business puzzle. A travel company is facing a pretty serious problem. Sales for their tours in the Dammam region have just stopped growing. They've hit a wall. And the big question is, why?
And here's the problem. Clear as day. You can see sales for tours in Aba and Hail are doing great. They're climbing month after month. But then you look at Dammam, and it's just a flat line. For 6 months, absolutely no growth. What is going on there?
And here's the real head-scratcher. It's not like the whole company is struggling. Far from it. In fact, one of their tours in Hail is absolutely crushing it, becoming a top 5 bestseller of all time. That success just makes the problem in Dammam look even more confusing and way more urgent to solve.
So, to figure this out, we need the right tool for the job. We can't just guess or go with our gut. We have to shift gears from that automatic, everyday thinking to something much more deliberate. We need critical thinking.
And the team in our story, they get it. Omar, the VP of Finance, says it himself. If they're going to figure out the Dammam issue, they have to use critical thinking. Anything else is just a shot in the dark based on who knows what.
So what is this thing, really? It's not about being negative or just poking holes in ideas. Critical thinking is a process. It's a way to slow down and deliberately decide if an idea is worth accepting, rejecting, or maybe just waiting on. It's all about making better choices and avoiding bad ones.
All right, so if critical thinking is our approach, what are the actual pieces? What's in the toolbox? Let's break it down and build our toolkit.
First up, you've got the claim. This is the most basic building block. It's just any statement that can be proven true or false, like Dammam tours are our most popular. Simple enough, right? But that claim immediately brings up the problem we need to solve, which we call
The issue. The issue is the central question on the table. For our team, the issue is, why have Dammam tour sales gone flat? Now, to try and answer that, people are going to start making their case, which they build using
an argument. And listen, we're not talking about a fight. In critical thinking, an argument is just a structured case. It's a set of claims that all work together to support a final conclusion. So you have claims which raise an issue and are used to build an argument. That's the toolkit. So, how do you use this stuff? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 4-step cycle. First, you ask a ton of questions. Then, you challenge all the things everyone just assumes are true. After that, you dig into the specific claims and arguments. And finally, you brainstorm other possible explanations. It's a constant loop of inquiry.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get back to our Dammam problem and actually put this toolkit to work. This is where the blueprint starts to look like a real building.
Now, this next step is maybe the most crucial one of all. You've got to separate the facts from the opinions. On one side, you have cold, hard facts. Dammam tour enrollment has not gone up. Air travel to that area is down by 3%. These are verifiable. But on the other side, you have the opinions. Oh, Dammam is just too expensive, or our customers just aren't into it anymore. These might feel true, but they're not proven. They're just ideas.
Let's zero in on one of those big opinions. Dammam is too expensive. It's a really simple, catchy explanation. It feels right. But a critical thinker hears that and doesn't just nod along. They see it for what it is, a claim that needs to be tested. So here's the million-dollar question. Is that statement a fact or an opinion? And how could you actually find out? Right? What would you do? Would you compare prices with other tours? Would you survey people who didn't book? This is the real work of critical thinking. Taking an opinion and figuring out how to turn it into a question you can answer with facts.
And that brings us to the whole point of this entire exercise. Critical thinking isn't about getting stuck in analysis paralysis. It's about building that solid foundation, that blueprint, so that when it's time to act, you can be decisive. Because you're confident your decision is based on reality, not just a gut feeling.
So let's recap the core moves. A critical thinker is always asking questions. They challenge assumptions, especially their own. They look carefully at claims and arguments. They make a sharp distinction between fact and opinion. And they're always on the lookout for other explanations. These habits are what lead to way better outcomes.
And look, this isn't just for some big business problem. This is an everyday skill, a muscle you can start building right now. So I'll leave you with a challenge. What's one assumption you hold about your job, your life, anything that you're going to question today?